with her fiancé. His secretary suddenly showed up with a big belly. My fiancé supported the secretary and looked at me as if nothing had happened. Although I can't marry Nova, I promised to give her a wedding and give the unborn child a complete family. After today, she is also my wife. And you must love the baby in her belly as if it were your own. The guests in the room had different expressions and were whispering to each other. My parents looked unhappy and pulled me to leave, saying they couldn't stand this. My parents-in-law advised me to put the overall situation first and complete the wedding. Looking at the indifference on my fiancé's face and Nova's provocative eyes, I laughed. She ripped off the corsage on her chest and threw it to Nova. She smiled and said to her fiancé, "A wedding for 3 people is so frivolous. Today I will just be a spectator and let her be the bride. Congratulations on your pregnancy and marriage. What's the cruelest thing done to you in the name of love? Tell me below." First, the heart breaks, then, karma breaks them. Who decided that being kind meant being silent? After saying that, I was the first to applaud. All the guests were stunned. Lucas Jean frowned. "Olivia Chen, today is our big day. You must make a scene, right?" He actually said I was making a fuss. At my wedding, he supported Nova, who was pregnant, without any hesitation and said that he wanted to have a 3-person wedding. What do you think of me? I grabbed the microphone from the wedding host and said loudly, "Thank you all for coming today. There was a small accident at the wedding, but don't worry, the wedding will continue soon, but the bride has been replaced. The 2 newlyweds are getting married today because they are pregnant. We should send them our blessings." The whole audience was silent. Lucas Quin had a gloomy face, and the expressions on his parents' faces were even more interesting. I didn't even look at them. I walked over to my parents and forced a smile. "Dad, Mom, let's go home." At this moment, my heart is filled with guilt towards them. In their entire lives, they probably had never experienced anything so humiliating. "It's all because of me." My mother held my hand distressfully, while my father stood up, bowed to the guests in my house, and then said, "I have arranged another banquet. Everyone's gift money is returned. Today is my treat." Looking at my father bowing, my eyes became sore and my nose felt numb. In my memory, my father has always been strong and rarely bows to others. Today, because of me, Lucas Quin and I are childhood fiancés. My parents have always disapproved of me being with him. Because of this, I had fierce arguments with them more than once. I originally thought that my parents were prejudiced against Lucas Quin, but now I know how sharp their eyes were. They saw early on that Lucas Quin was not someone worthy of entrusting one's life to. It's ridiculous that I thought Lucas Quin loved me as much as I loved him, and I would not marry anyone else. Since we grew up together, I fell in love with Lucas Quin at the age of first falling in love. I followed him silently and paid attention to his every move. It's been 15 years now. After such a long time, even if the heart is made of stone, it will melt. But Lucas Quin didn't do that. He was always distant from me and flirted with other women. Every time he saw me, he would get angry, but soon run to him as if nothing had happened. It's like a moth flying into a flame, knowing it will get hurt, but still not looking back. I thought that sooner or later he would see my good side and love me wholeheartedly, but reality gave me a hard slap in the face. He actually had a child with his female secretary and brought the secretary to the wedding, embarrassing me in front of my parents and all my relatives and friends without considering my feelings at all. He doesn't have me in his heart at all. I can give up myself for him and make him the center of everything. I can have a fierce quarrel with my parents because of him, but he wouldn't even give me a complete wedding. Looking at him holding the female secretary's waist with one hand and touching her belly with the other hand, with a tender look in his eyes, I felt extremely suffocated. He ignored my love and even threw it on the ground and rubbed it repeatedly with the soles of his feet. I'm tired. I can't afford to love him. As soon as my parents and our guests left, my mother-in-law grabbed my mother and said, "Mother-in-law, look at what you are doing. Today is the big day for our 2 children. We can't let outsiders laugh at us." My father-in-law also said to my dad, "Yes, Lucas did something wrong. You should scold him and beat him. And they are young people who should handle their own affairs. And we, the older generation, should just watch over it." Mom sneered, "What are you still looking at? Are you going to continue to make fun of us? Today our family has lost all face." Dad didn't say anything, just looked at me and let me make the decision. Lucas Quin supported Nova and walked in front of me, staring at me coldly. "Have you had enough of the trouble? Do you want to make my parents and your parents lose face before you feel comfortable?" When I heard his words, I smiled miserably. Who is embarrassing both sets of parents? Is it me? Nova looked at me aggrievedly. Boss Chen. I am sorry for you. When I learned that you and Boss Chen were getting married, I wanted to come and bless you, but, she touched her belly and said, but I didn't expect to get pregnant. I did something wrong and I don't care what punishment I get, but the child is innocent. I can't let the child be born without a father. Mr. Chen, you are so kind-hearted, you definitely don't want to see that, right? Before I could even open my mouth, my mother pointed at Nova and started yelling at her. What a eloquent vixen. You and Lucas Quin had an affair without telling my daughter, and even had a child, yet you still had the nerve to come to my daughter's wedding and act pitiful. I have never seen a woman as shameless as you. My mother-in-law quickly grabbed my mother and said, Mother-in-law, calm down. What she said is actually reasonable. The child is innocent after all. Then he looked at me and said, Olivia, isn't that right? Who is your mother-in-law? My daughter will have nothing to do with your son in the future. Olivia, let's go. We won't get married. Let's reunite the three of them. Mom shook off her mother-in-law's hand. The mother-in-law looked unhappy. Mother-in-law, what are you talking about? Our relatives and friends are watching us. We can't act like young people and do whatever they want. After saying that, he looked at me and said, Olivia, you are the most sensible person. Please persuade your mother as well. Don't let relatives and friends laugh at you. Lucas Quin said coldly, Olivia Chen, since you love me, you should tolerate everything about me. Nova is carrying my child. You should love him as much as you love me. His tone was so matter-of-fact, as if it was an unforgivable sin that I didn't love the baby in Nova's belly. My father-in-law looked at Nova, then at me. Olivia, Lucas's mom and I have watched you grow up since you were a child. We know exactly what kind of person you are. What happened has already happened. It will not help to make a fuss. What we need to do is to remedy the situation as soon as possible. I asked calmly, how can I remedy this? The father-in-law didn't hesitate at all. Finish the wedding first and solidify your status. The baby in Nova's belly is mine, Lucas, after all, so we still have to give birth to it. But don't worry, you will raise the child after it is born. You are the child's biological mother. As for Nova, give her some money and let her disappear. My mother-in-law immediately agreed. Yes, this method is good. Nova said, I have no objection. Mr. Chen, I am the one who has let you down. You will raise the child after it is born. I will not appear in front of you, Mr. Chen, and the child again. Hearing this, I laughed out loud. Of course you have no objection. Not only can you get some free money, but someone can also raise your child for free. Such a good thing would make you smile even in your dreams. Lucas Chen said impatiently, Olivia Chen, my parents have already said this. Why are you still being so hypocritical? If I hadn't seen that you loved me so much, I wouldn't have married you. Then it's as you wish. No marriage. Lucas Quin couldn't believe it. Mom clapped. Okay, Olivia, I support you. The parents-in-law panicked. Olivia, marriage is a big deal. How can you just not get married? You can't just do whatever you want. The father-in-law glared at Lucas Quin and said, what nonsense are you talking about? Stand aside. Lucas Quin glared at me and helped Nova to the side. My parents-in-law advised me again. I have watched them since they were young and I have always respected them, almost as if they were my own parents. I didn't expect that they would not stand on my side at all today. All they wanted was for me to marry Lucas Quin and raise a child for Nova. Seeing that she couldn't persuade me, my mother-in-law persuaded my mother. Mother-in-law, please persuade Olivia as well. Even if you don't consider us, you should consider Olivia. If you cancel the marriage halfway, it will affect Olivia's reputation. The father-in-law immediately said, yes, mother-in-law, we have to consider Olivia's reputation. When I heard this, I suddenly felt something was wrong. So you guys are going to eat me? After these words were spoken, Lucas Quin's parents looked unnatural, but they quickly returned to normal. Olivia, you can't say that. We are also thinking about you. Yes, you have to understand our painstaking efforts. Don't flatter yourself. Your son cheated on you before marriage, and you are no better. You are equally shameless. My mother's face was full of disgust and she pulled me away again. I shook my head. Mom, don't worry, it's not over yet. I turned to look at my parents-in-law. You have known about Lucas Chen and Nova for a long time, and you have teamed up to hide it from me, just to make me marry Lucas Chen and create a fait accompli, so that you can take Nova's belly home without any scruples. your eldest grandson, Lucas Quin, and I got married. Ha, you are very smart. My parents, in-law looked unnatural, but soon returned to normal. Olivia, we are actually doing this for you. After all, you love Lucas to your core. Not only can you marry Lucas, but we can also bring our oldest grandson home. It's the best of both worlds. Bah, best of both worlds. My mother was so angry that she was shaking all over. Your family teamed up to deceive my daughter. How could there be such a shameless family like you in the world? The mother-in-law stopped pretending and said proudly, "It's too late for you to say anything now. Olivia Chen and Lucas have already obtained the marriage certificate. If you don't want your daughter to become a second married woman, just marry Lucas honestly. It's good for both parties." My father-in-law looked at me and laughed. Olivia, you have to think it over carefully. It won't sound good if you tell others that you are getting married again. Nova on the side said with a smile, "Mr. Chen, it's just one more child. It's not like we can't afford to raise him. It was originally just a small matter, but you insisted on not letting it go. Now the two families are at loggerheads. Why bother?" "Shut up." The mother's face turned red with anger, and she rushed over and tried to tear Nova's mouth. I stopped my mother and sneered at my smug in-laws. "I'm sorry to disappoint you, Lucas Quin and I haven't gotten our marriage certificate yet." The smug expressions on my parents-in-law's faces froze. The next moment, my mother-in-law yelled, "Impossible. I clearly saw you and Lucas go into the Civil Affairs Bureau." Lucas Chin fiercely, "What's going on? Didn't you say you had already obtained the marriage certificate with her?" Lucas Chin frantically took out his marriage certificate. "I got the marriage certificate with her, and it has a stamp on it, so it can't be fake." "Why can't it be fake?" I asked back. "It's just a stamp. As long as our information is not entered into the system, we are not really married." "You." Lucas Quin pointed at me and roared angrily, "How dare you play tricks on me, you bitch." My face turned cold. "You can cheat on me before marriage and have a child with Nova. Why can't I play tricks on you? Don't you and your parents want to use the marriage certificate to control me and welcome the baby in Nova's belly home? Now I will help you achieve your goal without doing anything. You should be happy, you bitch." Lucas Quin cursed. "You are breaking the law by forging a steel stamp. Believe it or not, I will call the police. I'm not afraid at all. Go ahead and report what happened today so that everyone can see how despicable your family's behavior is. The worst that can happen to me is that I will be put in jail for a few years, but your family and the company you own will only end up going bankrupt." My desperate behavior silenced Lucas Quin. My father-in-law looked at me coldly. "Olivia Chen, did you know this a long time ago?" I smiled. "I don't understand what you are saying." "Stop pretending. If you hadn't known about Lucas and Nova, why didn't you and Lucas get married?" My mother-in-law said angrily, staring at me with red eyes. "You said that our family behaved despicably, but how can you be any better? You knew everything a long time ago, but you pretended to know nothing, just to give us a good slap in the face today. You are more vicious than us." Hearing this, I sneered and said, "If you hadn't been plotting against me and pressing me step by step, how could this be the case? In the final analysis, it's because you have bad intentions. If it wasn't before we got married, I would have accidentally seen Lucas Chin and Nova fooling around in the underground garage and secretly asked someone to investigate. Now I have fallen into your trap." After hearing what I said, my mother hugged me happily. "My dear daughter, you are awesome. You did a great job." I smiled and looked at my parents-in-law who looked like they had lost their parents. Lucas Quin looked at me resentfully. "Olivia Chen, this is really hard for you. You obviously know everything, but you pretend to be ignorant. It must be tiring to live with a mask every day, right?" I smiled slightly. "Not as tired as you. After all, I have to comfort Nova, act with me, and secretly plot against me with your parents. I am almost broken into 3 parts. I guess I don't have much time to sleep. TSK. I feel so bad for you just thinking about it." "That's enough, you bitch. Just wait for me. I'm not done with you," Lucas Quin said viciously. I said disdainfully, "What can you do to me? Without the constraints of marriage, you and I have nothing to do with each other. By the way, I still have to remind you that if you have the time to think about making trouble for me, you might as well spend more time with Nova. She is pregnant with your son. I just don't know if your plan failed. She can't marry you, and she didn't get the money. Will she still give birth to a son for you?" Nova's face changed, and she said quickly, "Boss Jean, I love you as a person, not your money. Even if you have nothing, I still love you and am willing to give birth to a son for you, baby. Of course I know how good you are. Lucas Qin's face was full of emotion. Then he looked at me coldly. Unlike this vicious woman, who keeps saying she loves me but doesn't want to sleep with me before marriage, she knows my parents are eager to have grandchildren. But she always pretends to be innocent and says she wants to save the most beautiful herself for my wedding night. Bah! I think she has been played with by countless men in secret, and she doesn't dare to sleep with me because she is afraid of being discovered by me. Before I could react, my mother pointed at Lucas Qin's nose and yelled, "Why are you barking like a dog? You dare to tarnish my daughter's reputation." Lucas Qin with an ugly expression. I held my parents back and said, "He can say whatever he wants. He can't lose a piece of meat." Mom is still not calmed down. I held my mother's hand and said, "Okay, we've wasted enough time. We should go now. Our relatives and friends are waiting anxiously," etc. The father-in-law hurriedly shouted, "Today's wedding has turned out like this. You can't just walk away." I turned around and sneered. "What? You still want us to compensate you?" The father-in-law said coldly, "Compensation? I don't need that little money. What I want is for you to swear that you won't let anything of what happened today get out. Otherwise, our family will be finished, and your family won't have an easy life either. In this situation where both sides are doomed, no one will survive." Lucas Qin, who was glaring at me angrily, then looked at Nova, who was leaning against him like a little bird, and sneered, "You should worry about your son and your unmarried daughter-in-law." After saying that, regardless of Lucas Qin's increasingly ugly expression, he walked out of the wedding hall with his parents, relatives and friends. The banquet resumed. My parents asked me to entertain our friends and relatives. Olivia, my bestie, waved at me. I walked over with a smile. "Olivia, you did a great job today." My bestie's face was filled with excitement. Seeing Lucas Qin and his parents' faces livid and unable to do anything about you made me feel relieved. "I've long said that Lucas Qin doesn't deserve you. You've done so much for him, but what about him? Besides ordering you around like a servant, what else has he done? Olivia, you have money and beauty, but I never understood why you fell in love with Lucas Qin so much. As if you were drugged." Maybe I'm stupid. I smiled and reached out to pick up the wine glass. "Let's not talk about him anymore. From now on, he is him and I am me. I have nothing to do with him anymore." "That's right." My best friend raised her glass and clinked it with mine. After the banquet, my mother and I helped my father leave. I didn't drink much because it's not worth it to have a scumbag who doesn't love me at all, but Dad drank a lot. It's all because of me. It was me who embarrassed him in front of his friends and family, and it was me who made him bend down for the first time. When I think about all the times I've argued with Lucas Qin over and over again over the years, I feel extremely guilty. It's my fault that I am unfilial. "Olivia, why does Lucas Qin want to marry you? Since his secretary is pregnant, they can just get married. Why does he have to scheme against you?" Mom asked. I replied, "Because his company is in trouble and needs capital turnover. Only by marrying me can he save his company. He married me on the surface, but in fact he was attracted by the money from our company." My mother was so angry that she yelled, "What a scumbag. You got your female secretary pregnant and you wanted to marry you to cheat our family out of money. Olivia, luckily you found out in advance. Otherwise, if you really married him and handed the company over to him, our family would have no chance of survival. Olivia, don't regret going to him again, or your mother will look down on you." I quickly expressed my unwillingness. It's enough to experience heartbreak once. There won't be a second time. In the underground parking lot, I unexpectedly met Lucas Qin and Nova. Seeing me, Lucas Qin fanned his nose with his hand in disgust. "You smell so much alcohol. How much did you drink? It must be because of me. If you regret it now, it's not too late." Hearing this, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. How shameless does one have to be to say such narcissistic words? Lucas Qin's face darkened. "What are you laughing at?" "Nothing." I forced myself to hold back my laughter and waved my hands. "Pregnant women cannot smell alcohol. Nova next to you is pregnant with your son. It would be bad if something unexpected happened. You should take her away quickly." Lucas Qin snorted coldly. Nova said, "Honey, I have something to say to Mr. Chen. You go drive first." Lucas Qin frowned. What is there to talk to her about? "Oh, go ahead." Nova is acting coquettishly. Okay, I'll go now. I really can't do anything to you." Lucas Qin looks doting. I almost vomited after watching it. "Olivia Chen, I warn you, if you dare to harm Nova, I will never let you go." Lucas Qin said something harsh and turned to drive. I asked my mother to help my father to the car first, and then I looked at Nova. "Tell me, what do you want to tell me?" Nova smiled. Mr. Chen. I know you still love Mr. Chen. I can give him to you. Hearing this, I put my hand in my pocket and quietly turned on the recording on my phone. Just this amount. Nova held up 2 fingers. 20 million is not a lot. When I get the money, I will not only abort the baby in my belly, but also disappear forever and never appear in front of you and Mr. Chen again. You can marry him and live a happy and sweet life. I nodded slowly. Sounds good. Nova's face lit up. You agreed. I smiled and said, 20 million is indeed not a lot, but I have a question. If Lucas Quin knew that you aborted his good son for 20 million, would he go crazy? Nova said disdainfully. Whether he goes crazy or not has nothing to do with me. All I want is money. I'm not afraid to tell you that I slept with him just for money. I thought he would marry me if I got pregnant and we would be rich wives. But he didn't even give me a fart. I can't marry him and I can't get any money. Why should I give birth to a son for him? He and his parents said nice things, saying they would not mistreat me when their son was born. Bah, what I want is not the pie they painted, but the real money. If you don't give me money, I won't believe you no matter how nice you say it is. Lucas Chen, what you said. Nova was fearless. Go ahead and see if he believes you or me. After saying that, Nova stroked her belly and smiled proudly. Don't forget, I have his son in my belly now. I looked at Nova's bulging belly and my eyes gradually turned cold. This woman didn't consider the baby in her belly as a life at all, but just a bargaining chip for her to have enough money to spend in the future. But Lucas Quin treated such a woman as a treasure and schemed against me together with my parents for her. I laughed at myself and felt sad for myself. Lucas Quin drove the car over and rolled down the window. Honey, we should go. Nova waved at me and said, Mr. Chen, think about it carefully. If you figure it out, feel free to call me. Lucas Quin glanced at me coldly, drove Nova away, and his voice reached my ears from far away. Baby, what did you say to that woman? Nothing, just to make her give up. You won't marry her because the one you love is me. Haha, baby, of course the person I love is you, and only you. The corners of my mouth curled up, revealing sarcasm. What a loving couple. I just wonder if they will still be as loving as before when Lucas Quin finds out what kind of person Nova is. I'm looking forward to it. In the days that followed, I was busy with my work at the company while paying attention to Lucas Quin's family, because Lucas Quin's company had a large funding gap. Many projects could not be launched and the partners' requirements could not be met on time, and it faced the crisis of paying huge liquidated damages. Lucas Quin's parents ran around to borrow money, but the company had a funding gap and the amount was not small, so no one dared to lend. Lucas Quin often went to the bank. At first I thought he wanted to borrow money to help the company through the crisis, but later I found out that he was borrowing money for Nova to squander. Relying on the baby in her belly, Nova was like a bottomless pit, constantly asking Lucas Quin for money, buying piles of luxury goods, brand name bags, and jewelry. In order to satisfy her, Lucas Quin borrowed a lot of money and even transferred the company's limited working capital. Finally, he had to borrow money from the bank to barely satisfy Nova's appetite. I don't think Nova is a fool. She must have noticed that something was wrong with Lucas Quin's company, so she asked for money again and again, just to make a final profit and run away. But what I didn't expect was that Lucas Quin actually set his sights on me again. He came to my office, with a cold face and a hard tone, and said, I was wrong about what happened at the wedding. I apologize to you. Let's have a new wedding. A wedding for just the two of us. I really didn't expect that Lucas Quin would not only come to me, but also openly say that he wanted to continue to marry me. He doesn't think I still love him, does he? I said with a smile. What about Nova? And the baby in her belly, what are you going to do with it? Seeing that I didn't refuse directly, Lucas Quin's eyes flashed with joy and he spoke quickly. The child was born and raised in another place, and she didn't appear in front of you. Nova just told her to get out. I spent a lot of money on her, and she should be satisfied. But didn't you say you loved her the most and only her? I asked in a puzzled manner. I lied to her. The person I really love is you. Lucas Quin looked at me lovingly. Olivia, we grew up together. I know your feelings for me very well, and I have always loved you in my heart. However, as the general manager of a company, I face too many temptations, and sometimes I can't control myself, but it will be fine after we get married. Our two companies can be merged into one. With you in charge of me, I will definitely stop flirting with other women and love you wholeheartedly. At this point, Lucas Quin knelt down on one knee in front of me and said affectionately, Olivia, marry me. I will treat you well for the rest of my life. Vomit. I'm so sick that I want to vomit. Why didn't I realize before that this person is so shameless and shameless? I clapped my hands softly. Lucas Quin. I have to say, you have refreshed my understanding of you. Lucas Quin frowned. What do you mean? What I mean is that I won't marry you. Go back to where you came from. Why? Lucas Quin is puzzled. Haven't you always loved me? And marrying me has always been your wish. But I don't love you now. Your every move and every contact with you makes me feel extremely disgusted. Lucas Chen's face darkened completely, and he stood up suddenly from the ground. Olivia Chen, don't be so shameless. If it weren't for the company, do you think I would come to see you and humbly say I want to marry you? In my heart, you are not as good as Nova in any way, not even a hair of hers. I smiled playfully. Really? Is she really that nice? But are you sure she really loves you and really wants to give birth to a son for you? Lucas Chen said proudly. Of course she loves me. Without waiting for Lucas Quin to finish his narcissistic speech, I took out my phone and played the recording. 20 million. Just 20 million. And I'll give Lucas Quin to you. I'll also abort the child and disappear from your and Lucas Quin's life forever. Nova's words echoed clearly in the office. Lucas Quin was stunned for a moment, then frowned. Where did you get the recording? Shoo, don't talk. Just keep listening. The recording continues to play. I don't love him at all. I just love his money. If he can't give me an identity and money, why should I give him a son? With the baby in my belly, he will believe whatever I say. Nova's words rang out one by one. Lucas Quin's face was red and his neck was thick. He was furious and yelled wildly, Bitch, bitch, I'm going to kill her. I put away my phone and said sarcastically, you think you can control her, but you don't know that you have been calculated by her from beginning to end. Lucas Quin, you are just like a clown, making people laugh. Lucas Quin roared, his eyes bloodshot, staring at me. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I replied lightly, why should I tell you? We have no relationship. Whether you manipulate Nova or get cheated by her, it has nothing to do with me. If you hadn't come to disgust me today, I wouldn't have released this recording at all. Lucas Quin gritted his teeth. Bitch, you are just like her. You are laughing at my joke. I said coldly, no one wants to laugh at you. You have brought this upon yourself. Your narcissism and arrogance have blinded you, leading to this day. Seeing Lucas Quin's look of wanting to bite someone, I smiled slightly. If you have time to get angry at me here, why not go back and take a look? Maybe Nova has already run away with the money by now. Lucas Quin was startled and rushed out of the office in a hurry. I calmly tidied up my desk, picked up my car keys and went out. Of course, to watch the fun. When I arrived, Lucas Chen was smashing things in the house and shouting angrily, Bitch, I'm going to kill you. His parents tried to stop him, but they couldn't do anything. The neighbors around said that Lucas Quin rushed back angrily today. When he couldn't find Nova, he started calling. When he couldn't get through, he started smashing things. No one could persuade him, but it was useless. I don't know what happened. Could it be that Nova ran away? That's impossible. Isn't she pregnant? So what if she's pregnant? Many women run away when they're pregnant. Judging from Lucas Chen's angry expression, that's probably what happened. Listening to the neighbors whispering, I thought to myself that Nova was smart and quick to see the opportunity. If she was a step later, she would have been waiting for the furious Lucas Quin. Olivia, please persuade Lucas. Olivia, Lucas is crazy. Please try to comfort him. His father and I are at our wits' end. Lucas Quin's parents came up to me with pleading looks on their faces. I smiled politely and then refused mercilessly. I'm sorry, you got the wrong person. There's nothing I can do. At this time, Lucas Quin took out a knife from the kitchen and waved it with a ferocious look on his face. Bitch, you dare to lie to me. I will kill you. Anyone who cheats me must die. The neighbors were frightened and retreated in panic. I was also shocked. I didn't expect Lucas Quin to be so upset. Lucas, calm down. Lucas Quin's mother stepped forward to dissuade him, but Lucas Quin slashed her arm with a knife. Quick, call the police. One of the neighbors shouted in panic. Lucas Quin away. And the ambulance also took Lucas Quin's mother away. Alas, such a good family. How could it become like this? Some neighbors sighed. I smiled coldly. It's your own fault. Afterwards, I heard that Lucas Quin was also making trouble in the police station, clamoring to kill Nova and even causing a scene in the police station. The doctor diagnosed him with severe mental illness and he was sent to a mental hospital. His parents could not bear the blow of their son being sent to a mental hospital and their grandson being gone, so they were both sent to the hospital. because they had no relatives to take care of them. They were bullied in various ways by the hospital nurses. Not only were their clothes never washed, but they were also beaten and scolded at every turn, and forced to eat leftovers. I have no sympathy in my heart. Yesterday's cause, today's result. They can't blame anyone for their current situation. I acquired their company and injected capital to revive it, and the business grew bigger and bigger. 2 years later, I became the most famous entrepreneur in the city. Everyone envied and admired me, and netizens called me the most beautiful, rich, and white person in the city. My future life is full of sunshine. If you've ever had to silence your own voice to keep the peace, or dim your light so others could feel bright, let me know in the comments that you're done playing small. Your truth has a right to take up space, and their karma is long overdue. Subscribe to Red Karma for more stories of unapologetic power. It's your turn to write the ending.